Recent report, and this was not like some,
What?
I know.
Good God.
Dan, did you hear a recent report?
No.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, this is a recent report that was actually on NPR, so that we're not talking, just some...
I'm sorry, NPR?
Yes, NPR.
What does that mean?
National Public Radio, the last bastion of real journalism in this country.
Yeah, but you have to have 4 first names.
You do. Absolutely.
Can I have 3?
No, 4.
Damn, I'll have to find another first name.
Yeah, I have a parenthetical citation in my name. It's really pretty.
That's how I know you're authentic.
Absolutely, yeah. So a recent report indicates that scientists are closer than ever to, quote, curing or reversing aging. And by that I mean like literally a shot that you are given.
Does this deal with
that will...
telomerase?
What?
Oh, you didn't read deep enough.
No.
Continue. What do you got?
I just assume whatever you're saying is also being said improperly on purpose.
No, you dork. It's these little things on the end of DNA strands that degrade every time it replicates itself. Anyways,
yes. Oh,
continue.
wow. Oh, okay. So you're on the base level of what aging is. Thank you for keeping up. Anyway, this is using new technology referred to as CRISPR.
Oil.
Do you know what CRISPR is?
Yeah, I know what CRISPR is.
Okay, so,
Dan, do you know what CRISPR is?
God, no.
Of course not.
Let's hear Dustin explain CRISPR.
CRISPR is a literal gene editing tool that is it's like open source, and anybody can get a hold of this, and it's unlocking the human genome in a way that allows you to like use a computer to interface and point and click and play with genes.
This is how they were creating like the ideal child, weren't they?
That was some of the worry, but again, nothing like that has happened. What is a real concern is the possibility that we're looking at people living 300 years.
Oh, like Gandalf.
Yeah, except
Gandalf was 3,000 years.
Yeah, and Gandalf didn't serve on the United States Senate. So these are some of my concerns. Like Tom Hanks, yes, if you want to live 300 years and give us 300 years of prime Tom Hanks, I'm here for that. Might it get a little old eventually? We don't know, but I'm willing to see how far he can go.
How much legitimately prime Tom Hanks are we going to get out of that 300-year span?
We're going to get Forrest Gump 17.
We don't. That's not
Forrest goes
I
back.
would burn down every theater.
Okay, all right. Who's your favorite musician? Gone too soon.
Yanni.
He's... I don't have words. The concentrated wrongness of that needs no other expansion of thought. I'm just going to let it hang and let it be there. Anyway, so, I mean, the idea is, and somebody brought this up, like, okay, so, yeah, people could live 300 years, and there's all kinds of, like, political implications. You do have the issue of, performers and famous people just generally literally outliving their welcome and their fame. Like, how tired of the Kardashians are we going to be in 150 years?
Ending.
They're done.
But they didn't, because they were given these shots. So I'm not saying the Kardashians per se, but I mean someone like them, famous for being famous, but for 300 years.
I got to be honest. Every time you say Kardashians, I think of Star Trek, and I think of the
As
Kardashians.
well you should. Those should be the more famous, preeminent Kardashians, which I think is actually Kardashians.
Yeah, probably.
I don't care. I would prefer the other one. I would watch that show. If it were the Star Trek, keeping up with the Kardashians, I would watch that show.
Flagor gets upset.
Okay, but we are all married here.
To each other?
No, you know that we're not.
Yeah,
You're married to Michelle.
Whoa!
I got Deanna.
I want to keep my privacy.
Dan over here. He's got Molly. Mm-hmm. Right now, are you prepared to be with them for 200? And 70 years.
I feel like I shouldn't answer this question. Dan, you go.
270 years.
When I see one.
Listen, you can be honest, because I'm going to be honest. I don't want to be with you for 270 years.
Yes!
Well,
I feel like we would probably kill each other. Here's the question. Does it work on dogs?
Oh.
Ooh.
Because if I could keep Tucker for 270 years.
Okay, I feel terrible, but that was my literal first thought. I just didn't bring it up because I didn't want to be
I don't give a crap about other
Why
humans.
wouldn't you
I
bring
care
that up
about
first?
dogs.
Because people are like, oh my god, people like the dogs that weird. You know, they think they're crazy. But I was like, I mean,
I think there's also
He's a great dog. I would.
I
keep
think
him
there's
forever.
also a better understanding that people love animals more than other people now because we can't afford to have other people as children. Like, we can't afford to have kids, but we can afford to have 2 dogs and a very fat cat.
Sizably fat.
Very
yeah,
fat.
I don't know.
No, I think...
I mean, because you're talking about, you know, manipulating genes, and that's obviously very specific to human genes, I think, in this case. So I imagine that technology could be put into dogs, and I'm willing to bet that if this ever gets into like production as like a thing, number one, it's going to be incredibly rich people that will be doing it, and us poor
I
folk
will
will
pay
not.
whatever for
And
Tucker. I'll
number
sell the
2,
house.
they will be doing it to their pets long before you are ever allowed to do it to your children. So, I mean, that's just kind of where it's at. I assumed that was going to be like kind of your guys' take on it was, you know, yeah, okay, whatever. And
I'd be interested to see, like, granted, I won't live that long enough to know. But
no, I
it'd
mean,
be
they're
interesting
literally
to...
close enough that you could start taking it before you're 50.
No, I get that.
However-
Sentence finished. However, I will not live long enough to see the cultural effect of it on humanity because things
God, I
like
couldn't
living,
imagine.
well, things like living with being married and all that stuff like that would probably just disappear because human beings.
Oh, I suspect
cannot-
that if we
people
could
will get
actually
bored of
live
each other for like after a certain amount of time, it will just. It's just it would have to be more of either a constantly open thing or like we are having a marriage contract for these 10 years and after that our marriage contract is up.
Oh, yeah. I mean, okay,
Like,
so
that's
never mind
what I
like just the
imagine stuff like
construct
that
of marriage. I'm looking at this as existential, like actual threat, because you cannot support I mean, you just can't do it.
No.
You can't support the amount of humanity that would just be sticking around. Because,
Yeah, I feel like you'd have to limit reproducing at that point.
and
Yeah.
how can you? We can't now. You're not
I
allowed to.
imagine if
I
you-
have to take 3 tests to get a driver's license and drive a Camry. I have to take 0 tests to fill that Camry with children.
No, but if they have if the scientists who can figure out genomes are allowed to be alive for 300 years, they could probably figure out a way to accurately go, and you don't have kids.
Oh no, can't get there.
That's now we're kind of creeping into Nazi era type stuff, and
I didn't mean it like you point at a motherfucker and they don't get to have kids.
No,
It's you
I-
walk up and go, okay, I don't want kids anymore. For fuck's sake, man.
Zap.
You jump to the Nazis, thank you.
I'm just saying everybody's going to do
Christ
that.
alive.
If you bring up eugenics, that's going to be the thing that's going to
if
people are
there's
going to jump
somebody
to.
deciding who's gonna have kids and who's not, you're gonna end up with that.
But hold
That's
up,
just how it goes.
there are plenty of people.
This is America.
There are plenty
Ma'am?
of people who do not want to have children, and if we want to go into a realm of things, there are plenty of women who don't want to have children who aren't allowed to not have children until they have a
Oh.
spouse who says,
Yeah, that's a
I'm
thing.
okay with you not having kids. Or they're of a certain age. That is a legit thing, especially in Missouri.
Whoop whoop.
Solid points.
I can't have a hysterectomy without Brian's approval.
Oh, that makes me so upset.
Yeah, this is true.
Oh, that makes me
that's
so
that's a
angry.
real thing.
Legit thing. So there are plenty of people, to Dan's point, that do not want to have children who would love to, like, say, I'm not having kids, I'm totally cool with it. But they can't because they don't have a partner who says, yeah, I don't want kids and I'm a man.
Man, yeah, I would drive through the government destructo ray that would get rid of my ability to have kids. If I just feel like, yeah, I went to, where they used to have all those spots where they would weigh trucks. Well, now that we don't use those in the future, we just repurpose them to take away people's baby parts.
You drive through and they microwave you.
Yeah, just
It's painless. Such a painless process.
It tingles.
Oh, God. The tingling means it's working.
that's what they will call it, the tingling.
You're
tingling.
sterile now.
If you like that clip, be sure to check out the full episodes of the Unmanageable Podcast anywhere you get your podcasts.